0. And it looks like we're live. It's Jeff and Kim from FEWL here for the Wednesday webinar.
Hi, everyone.
Indeed, this topic for today is DHEA, the anti-aging hormone, which is a super hormone, as Kim and I will talk to you a little bit more about, with all the things that it does, all of which are related to anti-aging. We're going to take 30 minutes at most to talk about this. In fact, we'll spend the first 20 minutes on DHEA, and then we'll open it up for questions afterwards, which we do every week. And we also have a free giveaway, as always. Tonight is a secret giveaway. We'll share with you what this exactly is a little bit later tonight. But for those of you who are on right now and who are still with us at some point later in the broadcast, we will be giving this wonderful product away. Well, I can't help myself. This is Stress Buster. It is the most amazing, awesomely tasting, pharmaceutical grade stress reliever and sleep assistant, and etc. But we'll come back to that in a little bit. Anywho, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff, for getting us started. So for those of you who want more specific details and more resources and articles to learn about DHEA, Jeff did a great blog that was posted today on our website, so you can go there to get more resources and information on the specifics and more of the scientific explanation of DHEA. But we talk about DHEA being the anti-aging hormone, and so we wanted to explain why that is, why we talk about it being such a powerful anti-ager. So as for those of you who don't know, DHEA is actually a hormone that's made by the adrenal glands, and in men it's made a little bit in the testes, but mostly most of it is made in the adrenal glands, and for women it's made in the adrenal glands as well. So again, we call it the anti-aging hormone because it's really important for muscle mass in the body and having a strong body, and for longevity as well. It's made in really high amounts actually in humans until we reach our late 20s and early 30s, and after that it just starts going downhill. It's just a natural process. It's not that something's wrong, it's just that naturally we start to make or produce or secrete a lesser amount of DHEA.
And that's really important because although it's natural for DHEA to start to drop, there are always normal or natural levels that there should be at every decade that you're in. And when you have lower DHEA than you should, all kinds of shit goes sideways, pardon my French, but really what happens is everything related to aging starts to accelerate, from gaining weight to, as Kim said, losing muscle mass, cancer, dementia, irritable bowel syndrome, infertility, diabetes, osteoporosis, metabolic syndrome, lupus, depression, adrenal fatigue, big one, adrenal fatigue, erectile dysfunction, and poor for men, and poor libido for women. It's all connected, and DHEA is one of, if not the one hormone that tracks right along with every one of those. It's not that DHEA causes those,
or lack of DHEA.
That's right.
But it's the lower levels of DHEA are associated with all of these things that Jeff just spoke of.
Right.
So DHEA is actually, it plays a role in over 150 different metabolic functions in the body. So it's a pretty big deal hormone. It's a very important hormone actually, and we often call it the parent hormone because it's a precursor for really important players like testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, and growth hormone. So it is a part of, it's a building block for other hormones that are downstream. So again, very powerful precursor to the major sex hormones. We said earlier that it was produced in the adrenals, and we've talked for the last few weeks about some other adrenal hormones like melatonin and cortisol. One important thing to understand about DHEA is that when DHEA is secreted, well, actually DHEA is secreted when cortisol comes down. So that really allows for growth and repair. DHEA is going to help us repair when we're resting and digesting and repairing. DHEA is playing a role, and cortisol is less of a player. So there's an inverse kind of relationship between cortisol and DHEA. So if your cortisol is chronically high, then we might have a problem with DHEA secretion or production and secretion.
And as a reminder, cortisol is the stress hormone. It's also called the belly fat hormone, but when you're under stress consistently, whether you're missing meals, which causes a stress, you have irregular, oh darn, Are you there, Kim?
I'm still hearing you.
Wonderful.
Technical difficulties here.
Oh, thank you. I
There
might
we
have
go.
to take that off again. Or
You might have to, yeah. It's gonna fall.
That's okay. Let's fix that once and for all.
Right. Well, I'll just keep talking a little bit about the chronic stress and how that
There we go.
affects. Awesome. Thanks, Jeff. So when we're under stress, cortisol comes up. When stress is relieved, cortisol should come back down. DHEA can kick in and start to repair and heal. So chronic stress, elevated stress over a long period of time, can interfere with the hormone production, like for instance of DHEA, and then we have an interference with your balance of testosterone and interference with your estrogen and your progesterone and other hormones down here. So it's a really big deal. When we're under chronic stress, we mess up a lot of different hormonal pathways in the body.
Absolutely. So, you know, you might think, and just go get yourself a DHEA supplement and you're off to the races. While that could be true, chances are very high that that's not the right way to go. First, you have to even know, is your DHEA even low? And as well, you also have to know, if it's low, why is it low? And because there's all these other hormones that are wrapped into, you know, each other and how they balance with each other. Probably the best way to figure it out is, of course, the Dutch test, the urine test, the hormone test that we provide here at FEWL, because as simple as it is, just pee on some strips, and then the lab, of course, you send the strips into the lab and you get your results, which is brilliant. It's probably the very first place to start to figure out, other than symptoms. Am I feeling fatigued, and have I gained some weight, and do I have any of these other symptoms that, again, are listed in the blog? You know, that might be an indicator, but we'd have to test it and actually find out, you know, really where you're at. And from there, of course, understand what it is you're going to do. Because there's a whole world of different supplements, certain ones you use at certain times, and certain ones you absolutely avoid at certain times. And Kim, I think, could speak to you a little bit more about that.
Right. So DHEA has been used in natural supplement form for many, many years, very safely and very effectively in many cases. But the concern is that first you would want to find out, do you really need DHEA? Is that causing the imbalances and the symptoms that you're experiencing or not? So understanding what your levels are first would be the first most important thing. And then what other hormones are affected. Some people, low DHEA or too high of DHEA is going to affect testosterone. For other people, it might affect their estrogen more. For some people, it might affect their progesterone more. So based on a lot of different factors, genetic factors, lifestyle factors, dietary factors, your metabolic pathway for the way that DHEA is secreted and transferred into other hormones is going to be different from other people. So as Jeff said, that test is really helpful to see where you're at and what your body is doing with the DHEA that it is making and what pathway does it favor. So understanding that helps us. DHEA can be used very safely, but when we're adding hormones, we have to be very, very careful, because what we want to do, actually, the preferred method is to make your own hormones instead of needing to take hormones. So make it instead of take it when possible. The factors that really are important for your own natural healthy production and secretion of DHEA are, guess what? Healthy foods, getting sunshine, getting outside, playing, having fun, managing your stress, all these lifestyle things that we talk about with FEWL every day. So that is something that we're going to try and address first. But if your symptoms are so severe and your levels are so out of whack, DHEA pills or cream, liquid, all different kinds of forms that you can take DHEA in. We just really recommend that you first test and you talk to a practitioner that can help you decide if you need it, how much, and what the best method to take it is. So with FEWL, we have had a lot of success with clients using appropriate DHEA. Right, and so we're going to take the time to help you decide if that's a supplement that's going to be right for you, the best way to take it, and the best dose for you. And it's not a long-term or forever thing. It's something that we would use to help stimulate your body to get back into healthy functioning order, and then step down with that dosage over time and use the lifestyle supplementation of other nutrients or cofactors for those hormones. For instance, cholesterol. You want to explain, Jeff, why cholesterol is so important with these steroid hormones?
So we're doing a lot of talking about hormones, and a big part of the reason why there's more hormone discussion, not just from us, but in the medical community, is one, we now have easily accessible tests to figure it out. But the other is, as we've reduced our health over the decades, there's always been something more. What else is going on that's causing people to, be less healthy? And, one of the things, surprisingly, food-wise, is cholesterol. Starting in the 60s, 70s, 80s, especially rolling into the 90s, everything was low fat. I mean, the most popular cookie used to be an Oreo cookie, and then somewhere in the 90s it became a Snackwell chocolate chip fat-free cookie. Fat-free cheese, fat-free yogurt, fat-free, pretty much everything you can imagine, fat-free. But what has happened, as an example, is taking away fat also removed cholesterol. Unfortunately, the old science said if your cholesterol was higher, you're going to have heart disease, but the reality is that doesn't actually happen. We pretty much disproved that. So as people were reducing their fat intake, unfortunately, they were also reducing their cholesterol intake because they go hand in hand. And because cholesterol was going down, many people were unable to produce the DHEA that they actually need. So certainly as part of our programs, all of our programs, and a part of our recommendations and our analysis is, we take a look at the things from food, as Kim was saying, right through to sunshine, and supplements, and find out really where can we boost the hormones that need to be boosted for you to get you in where you want to go.
All right, so again, all of these molecules that we get, like cholesterol, from our diet, or that your body makes if it's got the right tools to make cholesterol, are building blocks for these hormones. So instead of just throwing a synthetic or even a natural source of a hormone in your body, it's often better to actually look at the building blocks, and are you getting enough of those building blocks that your body then can take and use to produce hormones in the right balance. One of the things about DHEA is that people get excited they can go get this great anti-aging hormone right over the counter, it's safe, it's natural. But the truth is, if your body is not producing DHEA because your adrenals are shot, adding DHEA in a pill is not going to fix the problem. One pill alone is never going to be a solution to the reason that you're not producing enough of that hormone. So a lot of people actually contact us because of adrenal fatigue. We talked about this a little when we talked about cortisol, and talked about what adrenal fatigue really is. And it really is just a easy way to kind of describe chronic stress affecting your hormone balance. So it's not just cortisol that gets affected or that is causing the adrenal fatigue and the other symptoms that go along with this. It really is showing you that your hormonal axis is off. And it's more than just one piece. It's not just throwing DHEA in the mix. It's not just trying to reduce your cholesterol levels. It's really looking at your whole diet, lifestyle, stress management, all of those pieces. And you can't just throw one thing in there and expect to have healthy, balanced hormones.
That's so true. And I was going to say something along those lines also about the some of the different supplements that are available. DHEA, because it is related to anti-aging, and it's so strongly related to anti-aging, they're having a lot of abuses of it, not just by retailers who sell it in any way, shape, or form, but also by practitioners, or even especially by consumers who figure that DHEA, anti-aging, just take it and away I go. And that's probably the biggest reason why we only selectively provide DHEA in certain forms to certain clients depending on what your needs are. So you won't find DHEA on our e-commerce site, our Shopify cart or anything, because we're not going to just allow people to purchase a product without understanding this particular product, where it's going and why it's going and how it's going to be used.
Right. So really the best thing to do is DHEA might be a good solution for you. So if you're interested in using DHEA, I recommend, number one, that you test first to see where your levels are, to see if it is appropriate. Number two, that you work with a practitioner that has some understanding of DHEA and the different formats that you can get DHEA in, whether it's liquid, whether it's a pill or a cream. And really talk through your specific situation, so the practitioner can give you some good recommendations on the format, the dose, and the product, the brand that you're using. Because as Jeff said, there's a lot of different levels of quality when it comes to supplements. And when it comes to something like a hormone or a hormone precursor like DHEA, it's really important that you're getting the highest possible quality. Jeff actually wrote quite a bit about this in his blog this week. Again, so if you go to FEWL.io, you can read some about this and how some forms of DHEA, if it's labeled DHEA, it actually is from a plant that can't be converted to DHEA in the body. So you're kind of wasting your money. So it's very important to be educated and to actually reach out and ask us for help if you're interested in exploring the possibility of utilizing a DHEA supplement.
Yeah, great points. I've spoken as much as I feel I need to for DHEA, but do you have other things to
No, I think that we covered the main important points. I really wanted people to be excited about understanding that DHEA is an important hormone. Number one, it's hugely important as a precursor to other hormones, but also DHEA itself being, 150 different metabolic reactions in the body. It's a big deal. But number two, the fact that you can go buy it at King Soopers. You can go buy it at your local grocery store. But before you do that, I encourage you to do a little bit more research, look into the possibility of testing, and talk to somebody that knows a little bit more about it to see that if it's an appropriate thing for you, and if so, what's the best way to take it and what dose. So that I hope that message came across, and that we're also really excited to use it when needed and to help you create your own hormones if that's the best possible scenario for you. So call us at FEWL if you need some help with this, and we can walk you through it and get you there. Indeed.
So that said, I think we'll give away our stress buster to the first question that shows up tonight, whoever might that be. So please type in a question, and this wonderful, amazing product, Stress Buster, will be yours for sure. We'll mail that right out to you.
Awesome. So, I don't see any questions come up yet.
No. But we have a couple of clients who consistently use Stress Buster. So if there's no questions, we're going to mail this to one of our couple of clients who uses Stress Buster very often. And we'll be able to announce exactly who that is next week.
All right.
Wonderful.
Well, thanks for spending some time to watch our video, and we would love to support you with this. Any hormonal topic that you might have questions about, give us a call and we'll support you.
Brilliant. And as always, thank you, because 100% of our business is word of mouth and referrals through a couple of our physician partners or referral partners, but mostly it's from folks like you who've had great service and great results working with us here at FEWL. So any of the other, we greatly appreciate any further referrals. And as a reward to you, we also have a bit of a referral program, which you can also read about in, I believe, our blogs or in our somewhere on the website.
Yeah. There's actually a question popped up, Jeff.
Please.
Do you want to read the question now?
I can. Getting close here. Should a person check their testosterone when on DHEA?
Excellent question. I think that anytime somebody is taking a hormone or a hormone precursor like DHEA, that yes, you should check all of the downstream hormones. So DHEA can be turned into testosterone as well as estrogen. So I would like to see what your testosterone and your estrogen are doing, not just what your testosterone is doing. So the dried urine Dutch test is a really great way to do that. You can also look at some of these things in a saliva test as well. We prefer the dried urine test because it shows metabolites as well as the free hormone. So that is a great question, and the answer is yes. You should check testosterone, but you should also check the other hormones as well.
And Christina, thank you for the question. So please send us an email or send us a session, a book a session sort of thing, so that we get your email, and then we can actually send you, since you were the first question tonight, we'll send you a lovely tub of amazing Stress Buster.
All right, or she can Facebook Messenger
of course.
Us her information.
That's right.
And we'll send you a free product. Thanks for the question. All right, only one question tonight.
That's true.
Keep it short and sweet.
Any other questions?
Everyone. You're welcome, Christina.
Thank you as well.
All right.
Enjoy the night. We'll be posting this on our webinar page, which is still in production, as well as all of our other Facebooks and webinars that are coming up. So please do check in, and thank you so much for being part of Wednesday's webinar with FEWL, FEWL.io.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a good night.
Bye.